in the real world, they don't meet you. They don't see you and your battles and your life and stuff. They just see your home. So, today I think what you do know, and you're somebody that's renovated in the past, the amount of people I speak to and they're like, oh, we've renovated before and we built before and we can do it again. And I think you could do it again if the variable hadn't changed, which is the cost of construction. Yeah. Because yes, values have gone up, but the difference in a lot of suburbs between a crappy house and a really, really, really nice house means a pretty big reno. And then the cost to get that reno done absorbs all your profit. Yep. So this is where you really, and we spoke about it just before, to do really well, you really got to hustle. And you can't put it down to luck anymore. Yeah. You got to know your stuff.
Yeah. At the box. It's one of those things where I see the really, really savvy investors that do scale portfolios and they do renovations really, really well. But then you'll see people that might have one investment property or maybe two that haven't quite learned how to be really savvy, and they tend to put a lot of effort, a lot of heart into the renovation. Yeah. They genuinely want to do a good job, but they overcapitalize.
Yes.
The expensive tap and, on a lower socioeconomic property, or God knows, I don't have to tell you, all of the examples, right? Yeah. And they're just spending way too much. And yes, they've put a lot into it. And yes, that's great. And it does look nice in the end, but it does not value up.
No.
It doesn't make that money.
No, I blame Instagram.
Instagram?
100%.
Really?
I blame, there's a couple of, I call them like, people that do renovations. I don't want to name names. Oh my God, I don't want to get sued. Yeah. I love them. They do such beautiful work, but they're heavily sponsored and they get everything thrown at them, and then they do a renovation, and then you think your level of renovation has to look like that in order to get top dollars. Yeah. Or top sale price. But then I say to people, okay, so you've got a property and you're going to drop 50 grand renovating it. You're going to increase the value to 80 grand, and then you've got equity now. Yeah. But then you pull out, because you can only take out 80% in equity. Yeah. And so you put in 50 to only take back out 50.
Yes.
So sometimes I'm like, well, then don't bother, because it's not really part of your strategy at the moment, because that's going to lose you 3 months or 4 months in the market renovating, 4 months loss of rent. Yeah. Just to renovate, to uptick your equity, when you could have just taken that 50 grand and purchased another property and not wasted any time. So a lot of the time when you do buy property that needs renovating, you have to be smart about your timing of the reno. Are you going to do it straight off the bat and then just set and forget and don't worry about it, and then increase the equity and then pull it out when you need it? Yeah. Instead of disrupting the cycle of that income coming in and that, you've got a good tenant, and then it's different. For instance, my tenant just gave notice. Mm-hmm. The neighbor just coincidentally is like, oh, our villa is getting sold. Can we rent yours out now? Yeah. I'm like, sweet, but before you get in, we just want to give it a coat of paint because it's been now 10 years and I just want to freshen it, because if they're in then for another 10 years, I don't want to disrupt them to maintain it. Yeah. And then it's 20 years. Yeah. 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 So there's always a strategy around when to renovate, but disrupting that cycle. So now imagine I kick them out or they left and I do a massive, massive reno, import 50 grand, and it's like, for what? When I'm not really needing that equity because I've already got equity. Yeah. So you've got to be really smart with your strategy when you're an investor on your renovation.
Oh, definitely. And everything's got to be cost effective and it's got to work. Another one is...
Can I ask you, what are you seeing with your investors? Are they wanting to renovate up front? Are they looking to renovate later? Like, what are you...
I'm trying to talk a lot of them out of doing it.
Yeah.
And buy well. So when I scaled my portfolio, I didn't have, like, we subscribe to H-Tag, right, for our data. We didn't have data sets that were as good as they are now. They're absolutely amazing. So back in the day, I'd made sure I bought everything under market value. Like, we're just down the road here in Macquarie Fields. Mm-hmm. We're just on the other side of the shops. I bought a townhouse, right?
Oh, yeah.
It's literally 500 metres from us right now.
Yeah.
And I paid 220 grand for it. They go for 300. This is 2012, 2013, right? So I bought it 80K under market value. whatever that percentage is.
Yeah.
Right? That's great. Spend $6,000. Paint,
yes.
carpets,
Yes.
new kitchen sink,
Yeah.
reseal the shower, new vanity, cheap mirror from Bunnings.
Mm-hmm.
That was it. Didn't want to gut that bathroom, didn't want to go through it, just made it tidy, made it fresh. The guy who owned it was a smoker. So fresh white walls, smell great, carpet smells great. Boom, there's your value, $300K. Extract that equity, go again. I ended up buying a second mine.
Yes.
Funnily enough, in this suburb, Mac Fields. And that was $250. It was worth $300. I did nothing except lease it back to him and left it. The equity was there. I extracted the equity, went again.
Yeah.
You don't always need to do the reno.
No.
But before that, like what we did, so I'm just trying to sort of let clients know that they, with data sets now, you don't always have to just jump in and renovate. If it's not your strategy and you want to sit at home, you work from home on Zoom or you live in Sydney, you can now, we're borderless investors. You can now just go buy, property in Cairns. There you go. It's up. You got your equity, go again. I kind of did it a certain way back in the day and I love it because it's super fast. And if you nail it and do it well, but it required time. See, the way I did it was I had a business that was producing income and I had free time during the day.
Yes.
So now I didn't have to go to work like everyone else. That's the difference.
Yes.
So during the day, so I'm out talking to agents during the day. So funny thing was I was acting like a buyer's agent without being one yet.
Yes.
So that's how I did it. But for the average person doing the renos, it's super hard now with how busy life is.